Antonio Brown is wanted for an attempted murder charge in Miami-Dade County after a celebrity boxing event that happened back in May. They are seeking to arrest him. He is facing attempted murder charges. Obviously, Antonio Brown has faced other serious charges in the past. For those who don't remember, he was signed by the Patriots in 2019. There was a serious sexual crime that was accused of him. At that point, he got cut by the Patriots. The next year, Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay. The Bucks signed Antonio Brown. They went and won a Super Bowl. But as we all know, what happened after that? The next year, after that, in 2021, Antonio Brown got in trouble for a fake vaccine. He missed 3 games. He then took his shirt off at the end of one game because he was mad that he wasn't getting his touches, and he left the field. And then he spent his whole time trolling people. He's been trolling people ever since. And by the way, before the Patriots signing, we're talking about a guy who threw away a ton of money on a signing with the Raiders and then did like a bird dance because he got freed. He obviously played with the Steelers back in the day. Let me say all this to say, I'm not here to defend Antonio Brown's character. He's a bad guy. He's a bad person. Okay. And I can say that up front. Antonio Brown's a bad person. And all you need to know for that is the whole fake vaccine scam that happened against him in 2021. I'm not here to debate your feelings on the vaccine with COVID. That's not what I'm upset about with him. Antonio Brown, the whole reason that happened was he got snitched on by somebody at a restaurant that he tried to stiff and not pay. Okay? This is who Antonio Brown is. Okay, Antonio Brown stiffs people, and that is my biggest issue with them. Okay? He is somebody who takes really awful shots at people. And to Antonio Brown's credit, I do have to say he did end up paying up on that outstanding restaurant check. But he is a troll now because it's all he has. And again, the stiffing of a restaurant worker is enough for me to say, I don't like this person. All right. I don't like him. I think where there's smoke, there's fire with the way he behaves. I am willing to acknowledge maybe there's some CTE or something there. I'm also willing to acknowledge I am guilty of enjoying his tweets because they're hilarious and I'm going to hell for it. I get it. But at the same time, I'm not here to defend his character. Still, based on what this Washington Post warrant is saying, I don't know the case. I don't know the details. Hopefully, a lot of this comes out in court or whenever he does get arrested by police. But there are some things that have to be addressed to be fair to him on this. Because the Washington Post obtained the warrant calling for his arrest and calling for him to post $10,000 bond and then go on house arrest. According to the warrant, cell phone footage reportedly shows Antonio Brown firing 2 gunshots after running after a man he was fighting earlier, and the gunshots came from a gun he took off a security guard. The man he was allegedly running after says Brown shot at him twice and may have grazed his neck. This all stems from May 16th when he was in a fight with several other people. There's videos of it on social media with Antonio Brown in handcuffs. The warrant says footage exists of him punching the man and taking the gun off the security officer and running towards that man and shooting at him. Now, from the other side, Antonio Brown claims someone was trying to rob him and take his jewelry. And that's what this is about. Again, I wouldn't find that credible at all. But I'm going to say this. While there's footage of Antonio Brown in handcuffs from May 16th, he was not arrested. Now, that doesn't mean that they didn't uncover crimes he committed later. And maybe they did. But if he took a security guard's gun and ran after a man with it and shot him twice, and the man is claiming he grazed his neck, wouldn't somebody involved in law enforcement have noticed that and arrested him then on the spot? If this was after a celebrity boxing match where there was a big crowd, it just doesn't seem like it makes sense that Antonio Brown will be allowed to walk free. Maybe it does. Maybe nobody noticed it. But I'm going to say this. By letting him walk free and now trying to arrest him later, and I get you have to gather all your evidence and details and get all your ducks in a row sometimes before you arrest somebody. But this one seems pretty obvious. Someone takes a gun and runs after somebody and shoots at him, then you got to arrest him then. Even if they did try to rob him, you arrest him, you hold him, and you try to figure out the whole details of the case. But Antonio Brown has since claimed someone was trying to rob him, and he's now being arrested nearly a month later. Come on. I got to say that maybe he's guilty. Maybe he is, and I'm willing to listen to everything about this. But I'm also willing to say that it's weird that you handcuffed him, that you have video of him taking a gun and running after somebody and shooting twice, implying he was shooting at the person. And now you want to arrest him for attempted murder when you didn't arrest him at the time. Now, again, I want to insist. There's a lot of details that oftentimes go into these cases. More has to come out. I'm reserving judgment. But I am saying, in the court of public opinion, that looks like it could be in his favor. Because, truth be told, Antonio Brown looks like he could be telling the truth that someone was trying to rob him. Now, look, if someone was trying to rob him and take his jewelry, that is no excuse. It's an excuse to maybe punch somebody in self-defense. It's no excuse to go to a security guard, take his gun, and then run after the person who tried to rob you, okay? Once you are safe, once you are in the clear, this is my belief, once you are clear, you don't get to continue to try to enact violence, particularly something like that. So I'm not here to say that even if that did happen, then Antonio Brown should get off the hook. Absolutely not. No, you don't get to chase somebody with a gun and fire a couple of shots. And particularly if we're going to take it to this level, again, this is not in the police report. This is not in the warrant. But if he was shooting at the person, if you're firing shots at a person running away, all bets are off. I don't care what that person did to you at that point. You got to face consequences. You can't go after and target somebody that just because they did something to you, you can't run after them after they're no longer a threat to you. You just can't do that, particularly if they didn't take anything you own. So with that in mind, Antonio Brown, if he chased after this person, particularly after taking a security guard's gun, he should absolutely face murder charges. I'm totally fine with that. My question is, why was Antonio Brown not arrested the night this allegedly happened? Because even if you're going to look at the security footage and say this is how you determine it retroactively based on the security footage, it seems very hard to believe that you wouldn't have noticed this in the moment and had probable cause to arrest somebody taking a security guard's gun, running after somebody and firing shots. Again, allegedly implied at the person they're running after. So in Antonio Brown's defense, and I don't want to defend him, he's a bad person. He's not a good person. I have to insist that. I don't know how you can make that case that you want to arrest him a month later when anything that would have shown up on security footage of him doing should have been noticed at the time. Maybe I'm missing something. We'll see. But Antonio Brown being arrested a month later on this type of incident seems a little